Good morning. So, bit of a different setting today, but as I'm on my way to work on this very nice Saturday morning, I just wanted a word popped in my head. I was thinking about what to do for the next video, and because of I was just having this moment where I was just thinking, think positively, and I thought, and I was almost beating myself up, and I thought contradiction, and that just came to my head. And I think sometimes we can all contradict ourselves, and I think it's down to your intentions. If your intentions are bad and you're just trying to lie or trick or play games, then absolutely, contradicting is quite bad. But there's actually another way of being contradicting, and I think that's where you're just trying to see every side, where you're trying to understand your side, you're trying to please the other side, and you're trying to please yourself all at the same time. So you're trying to see things from the masses, and this is why I say these videos, I have to keep almost addressing the fact that they're almost personal to me and personal to my feelings and experiences. And my feelings change day to day because I'm going through this constant renewal of myself. I almost feel like I'm kind of flitting back and forth, and I'm going through this huge transition, and have been going through it for a few years. By transition, I mean almost returning to my authentic self, and you might hear that come up in a few of the videos. Authenticity, authentic self, and it's almost like I like to say who I was when I was born. Basically, obviously, I don't want to act like a baby. Although sometimes I might throw my rattle out the pram, but I mean more to the point of being who you truly meant to be without the influences of education and people around you. That's not to say we don't learn from the people around us, so contradicting. But I just wanted to say it's almost like I was like beating myself up for not being positive, which I know I've addressed previously, but at the same time I was beating myself up for being contradicting myself and contradicting what I've been saying. But I think sometimes you've got, well, me especially, you've got to stop giving yourself such a hard time. Life's tricky enough without beating yourself up about everything. And I think being contradicting is like the last thing you have to worry about. It's like you've just probably seen something from a different point of view, or someone's convinced you otherwise, or you've convinced yourself otherwise. You've maybe done a bit of research, and I think that's where I lie with that. It's and by making these videos, I'm learning so much about myself. Hence why I'm making this one. And I'm literally on the way to work, and I just needed to stop and just address this, really, because in a way these videos, I wouldn't say they're saving my life, but there's so much on my mind all the time, and by putting it down in these videos, it's like I thought I'd be embarrassed and like mortified to hear my own voice or see myself on camera, and that's not to say I'm egotistical for not thinking that, but I'm just okay with it, actually. And these are very healing, and these feel very supportive to myself, because I think we're just trying to convince ourselves, and we just want to hear what we want to hear half the time. And when I'm giving people advice and I'm giving clients advice, I can really reel off some decent advice, and that's because I've thought about it, and I've been through experiences myself. But it's that typical thing, isn't it? You don't take your own advice, and I'm as much a culprit of that as anyone else. But I think I just want to say it's okay if you do contradict yourself sometimes, and it's like, because I know people just jump on you if you do, and then I'm always very hypocritical, very contradicting. But it's like, just because you're doing something and you're advising someone not to do the same thing doesn't mean you have to be penalised for it or made to feel like shit about it, because you're giving people the advice because you've seen the bad points of it, and you've seen the downfalls of whatever it is you're giving them the advice about. Sometimes what you could be doing is quite addictive, whether it's whatever, without me getting too specific. So if anything, the best people to give advice about something are the ones that have been through it or going through it themselves. And if you can warn anyone against sort of the negative things in your life. Because I mean, let's face it, I'm probably not going to be a parent now. You know, being 35, being gay and whatever else is, and almost being a little bit selfish, which is okay. You know, I live my own life and enjoy it. I think I can't pass that knowledge on to my children to say, don't do that, don't do that. But what I can do is pass it on to people that I'm around and clients and people that I see day to day and go, you know, especially people that are younger than me. And I say, oh, you know, don't do that, because trust me, even if you know you've told them, it's not a case of I told you so. You know you've told them, so you know they'll have those words in their head later on, and they'll be like, okay, I understand where this leads, and I understand where it's going. But you also give them hope, because you help them to see that your life is okay now, but you had to go through quite a learning process to get to that point. And so, like with most of these videos, the word contradiction has led on to almost sort of self-belief and understanding yourself. And I think if you're contradicting, I feel, unless it's malicious, I feel, and you do it with true intent, I feel you're actually just learning and you're going through options and motions and situations within your own mind, which I think as a human being you're entitled to do. As a spiritual being having a physical experience like we are, I just think you're entitled to learn and constantly learn and go through. I think it's a sign of learning if you're contradicting, because day to day you know, some days you have a good day, some days you have a bad day. So some days you go fuck the world, some days you go I love the world, and I think that's okay. So anyway, here we are from my mini. I just felt I needed to do this video, and I felt quite an important issue. I mean, again, a completely different video to the one I was going to do. The one I was going to do was on family and her, which I will do at some point when I've thought a bit more about it. But I quite like to go on a whim with these and go, right, here's something in my head, and then I go with it. I don't rehearse these. I don't write them down. I don't write a script. I don't redo the videos. I purposefully don't do that, because it needs to be authentic. As sometimes I might look back and go, well, that sounds a bit tough. This needs to be one take, done, said, and finished. Okay, so anyway, have a nice weekend, and I'll do another one over the next few days, hopefully.